Hey, this is Kevin Douglas. I'm playing some Modern Burn. Just joined a league. And what we're playing is a version that has Chain to the Rocks on the sideboard. There was a Mike Flores article back in December that basically was talking about how good the card is versus Hierarch decks, so I thought I'd run Friendly League with it. This is a great hand. Goblin Guide, Swift Spear, Grim Lavamancer. I think we will lead off turn 1 Lavamancer. And then we can turn 2 Swift Spear Goblin Guide. That way, depending on what their first turn is, we can get in with a Lavamancer. Usually it's good to play your hasty creatures after your non-hasty creatures. So Cloudfin Raptor looks like we have like an Evolve deck, which is kind of interesting. I think we'll try to keep this Grim Lavamancer around. So we'll go ahead and fetch for, well, actually, there's nothing they can do about it this turn. So we're going to go ahead and find a, I think a Mountain, because we can get a Scalding Tarn, or a Sacred Foundry off the Scalding Tarn next turn. And we'll just crack in with everybody. They're probably not going to block with the Cloudfin Raptor. So they're going to see Wooded Foothills off of the Goblin Guide trigger. Go down to 16, we'll pass. So there's Experiment 1. We'll see an evolution here. There's that Wooded Foothills. We can go ahead and dismiss that. Hopefully they get a fetch. They don't. They get a Forest. There's a Narnum Renegade. So kind of like an interesting Zoo style deck. So the Cloudfin Raptor and the Renegade are out of our Grim Lavamancer range now. We'll see if they want to attack in. They might leave it back as a blocker. No, so they're going to go ahead and get in. So puts them to 17. So I think Lightning Helix is a good draw here. We can like Lightning Helix the Narnum Renegade, and then attack him with the Goblin Guy and Swift Spear, and destroy the Experiment 1. I think that's what we want to do here. Go ahead and fetch for a, I think a Mountain. We're at a point now where we're just top decking, so any white spell we draw, we can just fire off when we draw it. Go ahead and get in for 4. So they will draw another land. It's a breeding pool though, so if they decide to bring in an upright, it'll cost them 2 life. So this Grim Lavamancer could be good at keeping their board clear. If they are all mostly like evolved creatures, they're going to start out small. So unless they can play a bunch of them in a row, hopefully the Grim Lavamancer will be able to keep them at bay. Although if you think about it, I mean with Evolve, they probably want like a certain number of higher either power or toughness creatures. So maybe it won't work out quite like that. So I see another Cloudfin Raptor. What I'd really like to draw here is a 1 CMC burn spell to get prowess for Monastery Swift Spear. I can suspend Rift Bolt, and then I'll have 2 cards in the yard for Grim Lavamancer. Another Scalding Tarn is fine too. So I think we could Rift Bolt the Cloudfin Raptor. Use Grim Lavamancer on this Cloudfin Raptor. Get in for 4. We also just have 6 damage here, which puts him down to 5. Grim Lavamancer puts him down to 3. If they fetch, that's Grim Lavamancer's lethal. So actually, I think we'll just suspend Rift Bolt. We'll get in with the Goblin Guide and Swift Spear here. They're going to see an Arnhem Renegade. So I'm guessing this Cloudfin is going to block. So it looks like they're going to let the Swift Spear through. Go ahead and fetch up a mountain. We will Skullcrack. There's a Prowess trigger. So we'll get him down to 6. Suspend a Rift Bolt. Now with that Rift Bolt and 2 Grim Lavamancer activations, that will be lethal. So I think unless they kill us on this turn, or have a way to remove Grim Lavamancer and we just like have horrible top decks, we're in pretty good shape. So the opponent's taking a little bit of time in their turn, probably deciding whether they want to fetch or not. Down to 5. They know that the Grim Lavamancer can get them down to 4. If they fetch, then it just makes that Rift Bolt legal or lethal. So I'll go ahead and fetch. I could Grim Lavamancer now. I could also just wait and see what they play. There's an Arnhem Renegade. They're going to get another evolution out of that. But I think that they're just dead unless they have some sort of like play I'm not seeing that involves gaining life. But it looks like they just kind of want me to go through the motions, which is fine. So we'll go ahead and burn them out. Yeah, so I think they realized that with that Rift Bolt, they're going to lose game 1. So we'll go ahead and go to sideboarding. The Zoo-style deck on the draw seems pretty good. Excuse me, on the play seems pretty good. Hopefully I don't outsize these Searing Bloods, but those seem like the best card to bring in here. I don't think Deflecting Palm is great because it doesn't look like any other creatures get like too large. They're more of like a go wide strategy. We could bring in another Grim Lavamancer. That actually seemed like pretty good in the matchup. So cards to take out would be like non-interactive cards, like Lava Spike, Skullcrack. Eidolon seems good, both as a blocker, and it seems like they play a lot of cheap spells. So I think it's probably worth cutting either like Boros Charms and Lava Spikes, maybe Skullcrack, although I'd kind of like to see what they have coming out of the sideboard, so I might just leave those in. Yeah, so I think I'm going to cut the Boros Charms. It's a little bit more expensive than the Lava Spikes, and I'll leave 3 Lava Spikes. And when we have so many Grim Lavamancers, we'll probably be trying to leave up some mana. I mean, we can... sorry, kind of have a cold right now. you know, we can play Boros Charm at instant speed at the end of their turn, but this hand's a little bit land heavy. But we can fetch one away and start off with a Goblin Guide, start getting some pressure in. Lightning Helix maybe buys us a turn. And Eidolon, I mean, we want to play an Eidolon early if we're going to play one at all, so I think I'm going to go ahead and keep. Hopefully they kind of prioritize maintaining their life total and go like fetch land, pass. I mean, it also helps if they are playing Upright Shocks. It makes, you know, land that has less damage maybe not quite as bad. So I'm going to go ahead and fetch for Mountain here. I'm going to save this other fetch for a Searing Blaze. So we see a Lightning Bolt. I have a feeling our Eidolon will probably eat that next turn. If they spend their mana, Lightning Bolt in our Goblin Guide, that would be fine too. So we see another Wooded Foothills. They are going to fetch basic, get a 2/3 Narnum Renegade. That's going to trigger Evolve on the Experiment 1. And it looks like they're going to hold up Lightning Bolt. So we could Lightning Helix here. And go in for 2. They're going to bolt our Goblin Guide. Could also play the Eidolon and just make them bolt the Eidolon for 2 damage. I think that's an okay play. Because then next turn we can actually go Swift Spear, Eidolon. And maybe we can't attack in, but we'll have the creatures as blockers. Yeah, so here's that Lightning Bolt. We can go ahead and dismiss that. Here's another Experiment 1. It's not going to trigger Prowess for anything. And a Strangleroot Geist, which will evolve the Experiment 1. So they have a pretty good board going now. And I'm not going to block because I think next turn I'm going to go Swift Spear Eidolon. And I'll at least be able to get a little bit of damage in with the Swift Spear. So there's Lava Spike. So between Lightning Helix, Lava Spike, might be able to get him down to a couple, like 6 damage. Let's see, 6 down to 7. They have a pretty good board. I think we're going to need to draw pretty well here. So I think we just hold these back as blockers. Because by playing the Eidolon, we can't really attack him with this. We'll trade. I guess if we get in 2, that's fine. They can't quite crack back for lethal. I think we could just hold these back. I don't know that's worth getting 1 damage in right now. I'm kind of hoping they cast something into this Eidolon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we will want to block the Eidolon with something, or block something with the Eidolon. And that'll do 6. Maybe they have some way of doing an additional 4 damage. But I think we kind of risk it. So there's a Cloudfin Raptor, and another. So life goes on. They'll get on 4 life. Actually 8 life. So I think that's gonna do it. There's a Rift Bolt. The Strangler Geist has Undying. So even if we try to burn a couple of their creatures here, I think we're still in pretty bad shape. Although they do have what am I trying to think here? So we could Lightning Helix one creature, suspend Rift Bolt. If we played a Sacred Foundry upright, we'll be down to 2. Lightning Helix puts us up to 5. Rift Bolt one of their creatures next turn. I think we play this upright. I don't think there's a way that we can win. But we'll go ahead and suspend this Rift Bolt. Alright, so they're going to attack in. We're going to lead back this Cloudfin Raptor. So they don't have an Evolve, so I think I'm going to gain some life off the Narnum Renegade, get a Prowess trigger. I'm going to block the Experiment 1 and Strangleroot Geist. Unfortunately, that creature does have Undying, and it's going to evolve the Cloudfin Raptor. I'm kind of hoping I can draw some removal or something. Yeah, so actually they're just going to gain another crazy amount of life. So we'll go ahead and concede this game. Begin sideboarding. So we definitely want to keep those Skull Cracks in. We didn't see any of our Syrian Blazes, Syrian Bloods, which is kind of bad for us that game. I'm going to take out one Grim Lavamancer, I think. Especially since we have so many like Syrian Blaze effects. I kind of like Lava Spike back in. Maybe take out one Syrian Blaze. Although, I mean, it seems like one of the best cards in the matchup. I think maybe taking a Grim Lavamancer out is fine. So we have a Skullcrack, 2 Goblin Guides, some burn. I think I'm going to keep this. It's a pretty fast start. We should get 6 damage in, maybe 9 damage in. We know that they do some damage to themselves with their land before they can even like evolve anything. So we see an Avatar of the Resolutes. So they shouldn't be casting that anytime soon. Alright, Woodfill Hills for Breeding Pool is great for us. Young Wolf Undying is alright. There's Rift Bolt. So I think we definitely Goblin Guide here. I think then we would suspend the Rift Bolt. We'll go ahead and fetch for an Upright Sacred Foundry. Attacking with both Goblin Guides. So we saw a Misty and a Windswept Heath. So they're definitely getting some value out of our Goblin Guides. And then suspend the Rift Bolt. Then what we want to do is draw a land and hold up that Skullcrack. Fortunately, the lands we drew them are all fetch lands, so they're definitely going to deal themselves a little bit of damage. See 2 green here. There's going to be a 4/3 Avatar. So our Goblin Guys are probably on blocking duty now. Although we could Rift Bolt. Let's see here. We have lethal in our hand if we just point this Rift Bolt at Slip Oz. Although if we clear their board, we get in for 4. And if we don't clear the board, we're not getting in for 4. So I guess it's kind of like we're trading on 2 damage, but we're clearing their board, buying some time. So I'm not sure that we really have to point this at Slip Oz here. Because we could just play at their end step, but if they don't have that life gain spell, it's not like, it's not that bad. Clear their board, just hit them because we have lethal in hand. I think we just hit them because we have lethal in hand, and we'll just hold up that Skullcrack. So that is perfect. So there's a Lightning Bolt. And then I think we just hold our guys back. And then ideally, we will draw a land next turn so we can Lightning Helix and still hold up Skullcrack. Alright, so it's going to pass the turn, so that's good for us. I don't think we need to fire off this Lightning Helix right now. We'll just hold up the Skullcrack so we can be patient. They're going to go ahead and fetch Wooded Foothills. Would have been great if we had a 1 CMC spell there. Like a Lightning Bolt. There's a Stomping Ground. Definitely coming in tapped. So there's Experiment 1. What we want to see is them tap out. So I'm fine taking 1 damage here. Although honestly, if they went to gain that life, that would have been a good opportunity to Skullcrack. So here's Lightning Bolt. Next turn, we can Lightning Bolt and then Skullcrack in response to their life gain. Misty Rainforest. I don't think there's any point to block that, unless we are just trying to like force them to go for the... So here's Lightning Bolt. So they're probably thinking about whether they want to fire off that life gain spell. The only thing that would be bad for us is if they had 2 of them. Although even then, if we untap and we're able to find another white source, I think that would still be fine. And part of me here is tempted. If I fire off this Lightning Helix, they did not have a creature die this turn. Unless they want to like bolt their own creature. I guess that's something to keep an eye out on. So there's an Arid Mesa. So I think I'm just going to look for an opportunity for them to tap out. So unless they have exactly 2 of these, I think now is a good time to go for it. I think we'll fetch here for that white source. Nah, we don't need another white source actually. So I'm going to go ahead and Lightning Helix. Hold up Skullcrack. And hope they don't have 2 of them. So there's a Dispel. They'll gain 4 life. Go down to 2. And then we still have lethal. Man, so they did have 2 of those. But we're not totally out of it yet. We have Lightning Helix. We just need to draw another deal 3 spell. We have some life to work with. Here's a Strangleroot Geist. I'm kind of interested to know how many Dispels they brought in. They do have blue mana still up. So I think we just block 4 here. Just buy us a little bit of time. And now they could still have Dispel up. So chart a course, draw 2 cards, then discard a card, but they didn't need to. All right, so any live burn spell. And we're looking pretty good. So Searing Blood is great. So I think we Searing Blood the Experiment 1. And then Lightning Helix. And hope they don't have a Dispel. They could fetch in response. I don't know if we'll catch them at the end of our turn trying to fetch. I kind of doubt it. They have so much land. I don't know why they would need any more land when they only have 1 card in hand. So I think I'm just going to go for it now. And if they bring up any... Actually, they can't Dispel here because they'd have to bring in an Upright Shock, and then we would still kill them with Lightning Helix. So I think we are safe here. Oh man, so that was a close last game, and it always feels good to win through like 2 life gain spells, a Dispel. So Yeah, good way to start out the league. Kind of interesting deck, you know, not really a tiered deck, not even really tier two, you know, this sort of like evolve. But if I remember, it was like it made like a little bit of a mark on the leagues or something, like maybe sometime last year, like maybe early last year. I think there was like it was featured in like Channel Fireball or TCG Player as a deck. So kind of interesting, but a good way to start off our league.